For Stephen Chow, 1995 wasn't just any year, it was a special one. Well, for starters, he was no longer just the guy cracking jokes on screen. He was evolving into a full-fledged director. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. Personal changes, some setbacks. Now, at the peak of his acting career, Chow decided to team up with the equally legendary Jeffrey Lau. And what do you get when these two powerhouses collide? A Chinese Odyssey. A two-part extravaganza with a combined budget of a whopping 50 million Hong Kong dollars. It was based on Journey to the West. Chow's comedy chops, Lau's screenplay wizardry, and a sprinkle of Wong Kar-wai's cinematic influence. In the Hong Kong and mainland Chinese market of the 90s, this should have been a guaranteed box office hit. But you know how life works. When the films hit the big screen, it wasn't exactly a love fest. The reactions were, well, a bit like a bad date, polarizing. Viewers were all over the place. So yeah, not exactly the rave reviews they were hoping for. Now, before you go thinking this was a total flop, hold on for a sec. The film still managed to snag some awards like Best Screenplay and Best Actor. But let's not sugarcoat it. The box office numbers in Hong Kong and mainland China told a different story. And Chow's film company felt that blow hard. Before I decided to dive into analyzing Chow's films on my channel, I wasn't exactly blown away by this one. Simply put, I couldn't quite wrap my head around what the heck was going on. So, last week, one of you brilliant folks in the comment section suggested I revisit these two films. And honestly, I had an aha moment. I realized there's surprisingly little analysis of these movies floating around on YouTube. So, I decided to give them another shot. And let me tell you, it didn't take long before I was like, maybe this is actually a pretty interesting film. It's like an open field for interpretation. Now, you could try to simplify it, like really narrow it down and say it's just a story about two love affairs, but it's got that spicy little twist. Like when you've got a girlfriend, but then, boom, here comes this other woman who totally sweeps you off your feet. The problem? The lingering smell of your ex is still on your fingertips. You're stuck in this weird tug of war between the old love and the new one. Or if you want to go full philosopher mode, you could analyze this film through Joseph Campbell's hero's journey model. I mean, kind of like Iron Man slipping on the Infinity Gauntlet. If you want to dig deeper, you can toss in some Buddhist philosophy too. Karma, karmic obstacles, reincarnation. So yes, this film's got layers. No question about it, this movie was way ahead of its time. I mean, just take a look at some of the time travel flicks that have come out in the last decade. You'll see a certain resemblance to a Chinese Odyssey. So, here is the plan for today. I'm going to take another crack at this film's story using the 1-2-3-5 principle. 1 mastermind pulling the strings, 2 key artifacts, 3 Buddhist metaphors, and 5 critical time points. That's how we'll unpack it. With this approach, you might just rediscover this film and, fingers crossed, actually appreciate the deeper meaning behind all those twists and turns. Now, to really get the plot of these two films, you gotta understand one key thing. Everything is part of an elaborate scheme, carefully crafted by Guanyin. Yep, she's the mastermind behind it all. Think of her like the time variance authority from Marvel or The Matrix. Except instead of handling timelines with a stick, she's got divine powers and a serious to-do list. Her job? Make sure the entire universe sticks to the pre-approved script. And in this case, the script is Journey to the West. Now, in the original Journey to the West, Sun Wukong is the loyal helper, assisting Tang in retrieving the sacred scriptures. But in this film, no. Kong's a bit of a player. He's flirting, betraying Tang, and acting nothing like the noble Monkey King we all know from the classic novel. It's like a major bug in the system. It messes up the whole thing, and that's where Guanyin steps in. She intervenes and rewrites the narrative. Get Kong back on track and make sure he's doing what he's supposed to. And to do that, she's got a plan. She sets up 2 inescapable narrative loops in the plot. Let's dive into the first loop, and let's call it the love entanglement. So here we go. Zixia loves Joker. Joker loves Bai Jingjing. Jing loves Kong, but Kong can't love Zixia. Now, you might be sitting there thinking, wait a minute, Kong and Joker are the same person, right? No, they're separated by 500 years. Time is really playing tricks on us here. Everything fits, except of course the timing. Now, onto the second loop, rescuing Zixia from the Bull Demon King. Joker has to defeat the Bull Demon King to save Zixia. In order to do that, Joker has to become Kong. But wait, to become Kong, he has to abandon all emotions and desires. And if he abandons all emotions and desires, guess what? he won't have the emotional drive to save Zixia. Both of these loops are unsolvable, like trying to solve a Rubik's Cube while blindfolded. And they were designed to make Joker reach enlightenment. He's given the most beautiful love in the world, only to have to let it go for the greater good of retrieving those scriptures. So much drama, so little time. In the end, the fate of every character in this film, it's already set in stone. Guanyin in a way represents fatalism. She's like the invisible hand of destiny, pulling all the strings. And to make sure everything follows the preordained path, she needs a little help. A gadget that lets you travel through time and space. And, fix the plot when it goes off track. Classic time travel logic, right? When watching this film, we need to ask ourselves a few key questions. Who placed the Moonlight Treasure Box? When was it placed? And, of course, how many of these things are floating around in the universe? If we put on our Joseph Campbell hats and analyze this using the hero's journey model, it's pretty clear that the Moonlight Treasure Box always shows up right when Joker's fate is about to take a major turn. The first time we see the box, Joker's stuck in the water curtain cave and accidentally digs it up. Then, during his time travel journey, Joker meets Z, falls head over heels in love, and yep, she swipes the box. Later, Kong injures Z and snatches the box back while trying to escape from Guanyin. But wait, the box keeps on moving. It ends up in the hands of the Bull Demon King, Tang, and others, and it ultimately leads to Tang's time travel, Kong's death, Joker's transformation, and his big enlightenment moment. This thing is like the ultimate plot device. Here's the thing, though. Something this important doesn't just randomly show up in a cave. I mean, it was deliberately placed there, and I'm betting Guanyin set it up after Kong left the cave to speed up Joker's transformation into Kong. She's all about getting things back on track after all. And then there's the magic of the box. It doesn't just mess around with time. It's got spatial travel powers, too. Joker uses it to go back in time, which is obviously time travel. Tang, on the other hand, uses it and ends up in Egypt, Rome, and India, spatial travel. The box isn't picky, it's a multiverse kind of device. Now here's the twist. When Kong injures Z, the Z he's dealing with is actually Qing, the other soul living inside her. So then, where did Qing's Moonlight Treasure Box come from? The film doesn't spoon-feed us the answer here. I think there might actually be two Moonlight Treasure Boxes. But here's what really grabs my attention. The time travel theory embedded in this film. This thing was ahead of its time, literally. It came out 20 years before Avengers. Even the Ancient One's explanation of time paradoxes in Endgame has a certain familiarity to it. So, how does the two stories unfold? The two films span across two primary timelines and 5 key time points. The core narrative revolves around how Joker and Kong, originally two distinct characters, gradually merge into one, leading to Joker's transformation into Kong. Since the 500-year gap is central to the story, I'll break the 5 key time points down as follows. The story begins at A1, where Kong exists in his original form. Due to his betrayal of Tang, Kong is cursed in A2A and reborn as Joker after 500 years now living in B1, unaware of his past identity. At B1, Guanyin intervenes, sending Joker back in time to A1, resetting the story with new variables. What follows after A1 is an alternate reality A2B, which ultimately leads to B2. Now, let's dive into the first timeline's events. At time point A1, Kong and Jing fall in love, and she gives Kong a jade pendant, but he never returns. He's off escorting Tang for the Buddha, and also being a playboy, involved with Princess Ironfan and Xiang. Without the golden hoop, he even conspires to swap Tang for Shang. Guanyin intervenes. Tang sacrifices himself for righteousness, and Kong is reborn. After this, Z takes Chun and Jing as her disciples. Kong's appearance in this film is actually inspired by the Japanese version of Journey to the West. 500 years later, Kong is reincarnated as Joker, leader of the Axe Gang. This concept of the Axe Gang was later reintroduced in Chow's Kung Fu Hustle. Chun and Jing, seeking revenge, mistake Joker for Kong. Joker falls for Jing, leading to chaos, fights, mistaken identities, and the Bull Demon King's hunt for Tang's flesh. Chun uses the empathy phantom technique, accidentally injuring the second in command. The two then have a child who is the reincarnation of Tang. When locked up in the cave, Joker finds the Moonlight Treasure Box and unlock his fate. There are several references here to other films. Joker falls for Jing at first sight, and to win her affection, he disguises himself as a scholar and waits at a bridge. This moment pays homage to Tang Bohu from Flirting Scholar and Zhuge Liang from Romance of the Three Kingdoms. Additionally, when Joker orders his second-in-command to kill Chun, the response from the second-in-command is actually a line taken from Chow's royal tramp. Bodhi Patriarch turns into a bunch of grapes to save Joker, causing a huge misunderstanding and, of course, a big fight. And the way he strikes is a classic Wong Fei-hung movie move. Jing is heartbroken and tries to end her life, but Joker rewinds time to save her. He escapes with the baby, Tang's reincarnation, while Chun and Jing face the Demon King. In a final twist, Joker rewinds time again, resetting everything to A1, and the first movie ends. The first timeline is essentially a tragedy. Kong is reincarnated as the Joker, but lacks the ability to protect Tang, and the quest for the scriptures is doomed to fail. Joker cannot save his beloved Jing, and the second-in-command fails to protect Chun. They can't even protect their own axe gang. Chun and Jing, who were like sisters, end up turning on each other due to their own interests. The Bull Demon King is not defeated by Kong and will continue to cause trouble in the world. This is, of course, not the ending Guanyin hoped for. So, she arranges for the Moonlight Treasure Box and sends Joker back in time to the A1 time point, 500 years ago, at the Water Curtain Cave. Z, leading a donkey, walks by and renames the cave to Spider Cave, marks the Joker with 3 moles, and takes the Moonlight Treasure Box. Now, don't just write them off as random details. These moles are actually a deep Buddhist reference, a direct nod to the 3 types of suffering within the 8 sufferings of life. The 3 moles are a symbol of the trials Joker has to endure before he can fully understand the Buddhist teachings and transcend all the entanglements of being human. Guanyin's test isn't about physical endurance. It's about emotional enlightenment. It's like she's forcing Joker to confront these 3 types of suffering so he can finally drop those human desires and step into his destined path as Kong. Actually, in Cantonese, the pronunciation of 3 moles homophones 3 words. So, since the beginning of the second film, Z already leave Joker a message. You can guess what are these 3 words from their later relationship. That night, Joker tries to take back the box to save Jing, but finds it with Ching. Z has a split personality, actually. During the day, she is Z, and at night, she is Ching. This may pay tribute to the character in Wong Kar-wai's movie Ashes of Time. In fact, this movie borrows many ideas from Ashes of Time, from movie script to character design. Lau himself is a closed friend to Wong, and they frequently exchange ideas from each other's movie. Another remarkable element in the film is how the director uses camera movement to subtly indicate Joker's transformation. After Joker is marked, he looks into the demon mirror and sees himself transformed into Kong. The camera zooms in on the mirror, panning from the back to the front, with a fluid right-to-left shot, symbolizing the shift in his identity. This movement signals the beginning of Joker's internal struggle, which will later unfold through another powerful use of the camera. The next day, Joker discusses retrieving the Moonlight Treasure Box with Z, but it's in Ching's possession. To deceive Ching, who appears only at night, Z gives Joker a sword, telling him to present it as proof. Joker pulls the sword from her hand, leading Z to believe he's her destined lover. That night, Kong injures Ching while fleeing from Guanyin and takes the box, triggering the A2A timeline. Joker alters the outcome by witnessing Tang and Kong's conversation with Guanyin. The Moonlight Treasure Box opens by chance, sending Tang back to the A1 time point, while Kong is sucked into a bottle by Guanyin. At the A1 time point, Joker encounters Tang, who returns from the time flow. They meet the Black Mountain Demon, Zhu, Sha, and the Bull Demon King. Joker unintentionally becomes part of Kong's timeline, officially stepping into Kong's shoes, although he hasn't yet inherited Kong's abilities. And this opens the alternative reality of the A2B timeline. In the A2B timeline, following Kong's original path, Joker marries Xiang, the Bull Demon King marries Z, and Tang is imprisoned. The Bull Demon King marries Z after finding and saving Ching, and he gives the box to Z as a wedding gift. Joker deceives Z to acquire the box, telling her he wants to return to the future and explain his love for her to his fiancée, Jing. Z believes him and agrees to help. This part of the film subtly mirrors a Taiwanese love triangle involving Chin Han, Charlie Kin, and Brigitte Lin. Their relationship is similar to Joker, Z, and Jing's emotional turmoil. At this point, Joker's heart seems to belong to Jing, but as Z points a sword at him, he lies about needing to return to save her. This development deepens the emotional complexity of the characters, showing Joker's internal conflict and the difficulties in his relationships. The most poignant moment comes when we reflect on Chow's own life. After his breakup with Jacqueline Law, Chow began a 3-year relationship with Athena Chu. Their eventual breakup in 1995 coincided with the production of this film. The playful wink from Athena, Joker's monologue, and his tears, coupled with the film's theme song, suggests that Chow might have been expressing his true emotions about love and regret. Over those 3 years, he found himself caught between 2 relationships, unable to forget Jacqueline. Joker and Z agree to meet at 2 a.m., but Joker is diverted by Zhu and Sha to save Tang. But Tang refuses help, saying Joker must understand sacrifice for righteousness to continue his journey. When Joker finally reaches Z, he finds her injured from an attack by Xiang. They escape, but Xiang ambushes them using a soul-switching technique, leading to a fierce battle with the Bull Demon King and Princess Iron Fan. Afterward, Joker and Z plan to return to the Bull Demon King for the box, but Joker is pursued by Princess Iron Fan, falling off a cliff and being saved by Bodhi, who takes him to the Spider Cave. While unconscious, Joker calls out to Jing and Z, realizing upon waking that he has fallen for Z. Meanwhile, Jing from 500 years ago appears, and Joker decides to marry her. On the other hand, Z still hopes Joker will rescue her from the Bull Demon King. At the wedding, Jing leaves when she senses Joker's true feelings for Z. Just then, Chun arrives to kill Joker, slaying Bodhi and the bandits before killing him. Joker's soul monologue and a symbolic camera shift mark his final psychological transformation. Z pleads with the Bull Demon King to release the captives before their marriage, but another battle ensues. Joker can't save Jing from 500 years ago, so he chooses to save Z and regains Kong's powers by wearing the golden hoop. If Joker had chosen not to wear the hoop, Kong would be doomed, and Tang would be the Bull Demon King's next meal. The journey to retrieve the scriptures would end, and the world would return to its original cycle. During the battle, Z is fatally wounded by the Bull Demon King. Kong is enraged and slays the bull. Afterward, Kong uses the box to transport Tang, Zhu, and Sha to safety. Joker realizes that despite his sacrifices, he cannot save those he loves. Jing and Z both face a tragic fate after encountering him. This realization helps Joker sever his emotional attachments and focus on helping Tang retrieve the scriptures. These helpless moments beyond the reach of the Moonlight Treasure Box align with the 2 death loops we discussed earlier in the review. The box transports them to 500 years later to the Spider Cave, where we conclude the B2 timeline. In this new reality, Tang is no longer talkative. Outside the cave, Jing and Chun are mere mortals waiting for the return of their husband, the second in command. They have a happy ending. Outside the city, Kong encounters a couple at the city wall, reincarnations of Joker and Z. Kong uses his tricks to stir up wind and sand, possessing the man, thus fulfilling his 500-year-old promise to never be separated from Z. Finally, they are together in this life. The film closes with Kong leaving with Tang and the others to continue their journey to the west. This profound moment, marked by the last line, resonates with many viewers. The line speaks to the inevitability of growing up, of assuming responsibilities, and of leaving behind the carefree Joker we once were. As we grow older, we don't return to those simpler times, even as we take on the role of heroes. We never meet those closest to us again after parting ways, and years later, we realize how difficult Joker's turning point truly was. The only constant throughout the story is the journey to retrieve the scriptures. No matter how the timeline shifts, Kong will always follow Tang to the west. As Joker himself says, a true love lies before him, but it is the love he never caught. Upon closer inspection, it becomes clear that it wasn't that he couldn't catch it. It was just never meant to be. Neither Joker nor Kong could stray from the central timeline. Their efforts only caused small ripples along that line. In the end, it was all predestined. Perhaps helplessness is the true core of this film.